everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Against All Odds. And as I say at the beginning of every podcast, it's purely a selfish reason why I record this episode, or all these episodes, because I get to speak to the people who inspire me. And today I'm so lucky and honoured to have Kitty Jones on the show. How are you, my lovely?
I am so happy. Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Oh,
Goosebumps. I'm feeling all like, oh, that's really cute. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. It's nice to it felt so weird because obviously, I do a podcast with my sister. So it just feels like the spotlight's on me a little bit here. So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I felt the same when I started when
Yeah.
I checked, because I'd started being interviewed on other people's podcasts and then I had my own. So it's like, oh my God, now I'm the interviewer,
Yeah.
which is fine because I'm nosy.
So amazing on Swap Pod as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I need to say that yes, Kitty is a fellow podcast host. So you host the Swad Pod.
Yeah.
So we'll put the links up for that as well. It's an amazing podcast.
Yeah.
And you also are, well, you're also my yoga teacher, but you also are, so how do you pronounce it again?
Elysian.
Elysian. And we're going to talk about that because it's really exciting in your plan. Now, I always start with the same question because the people that come on my podcast have like an incredible journey and a huge reason why they do what they do now to help people.
Yeah.
So where did that all start for you, mate? Because I know you've had one hell of a journey.
I know we've not got long. I'll try and compact it as much as I possibly can, really. Yeah, it's been, I've definitely got a big tool belt of things that I've gone through, which I guess makes me a strong facilitator in what I do, because I can just relate to so many people that have gone through so many challenging times, and especially trauma. So I think that my trauma definitely kick-started in my early teens, and it just spiraled out and went all the way, to be honest, well into my 20s. And there was a string of things that happened there, abuse, DB relationships, really, very serious domestic violence relationships, addiction problems, mental health issues, you name it, I've been there. Grief, watching, the people I love die, it was almost like everything that could ever happen to me happened. Which I'm grateful for now. And funny enough, I've been reflecting on that the last couple of days, because I'm in the middle of doing my life story in regards to how I can explain now to people why I do what I do, because I want to sell my story a little bit more, because it's very relatable to a lot of people. But yeah, there's been a lot. And as I said, I'm so grateful for it, because I don't believe that I'd be the person that I am today. I believe that anybody that helps other people without that nitty gritty themselves, they don't kind of have that passion, do they? And
no,
the beauty is that we're able to turn that pain into passion, into purpose. I think that's a big one. And it's given me my purpose, because if it was 10 years ago, I didn't want to be here. Simply, I wanted to die. I was in and out of hospital. I was getting sectioned all the time. I was really, really unwell. But I mean, a little bit of credit where's credit due now is that where I am right now, I'm so centered, so happy. And I absolutely love helping other people. So I'm really glad that I've gone through that journey. But it's been messy, babe.
oh mate, do you know what it is? Because I know. So you said so young teens, yeah. And I think, and did you grow up thinking that was normal because you didn't know anything else?
Yeah, so I remember when I was 10, 11, that I always felt a little bit weird and a little bit different. And unfortunately, I think what happened is I just wasn't in the environment where I was getting the kind of support that I needed.
Yeah.
Have a great relationship with my mum and my stepdad at the time, so that was very turbulent at home. And then I went into the care of social services, so as you can imagine, then my environment just got messier and messier. And I think, unfortunately, I'm one of many people that have been failed by a system, the school system, social services, because there was lots of adults around me that had better knowledge that should have understood that I needed help at that point. And unfortunately, I was the naughty child, or I was misbehaving, or I'd run away, and and I think that yeah, unfortunately, I just didn't get the help that I needed back then.
Do you know what? It's so sad, and you hear about that all the time.
I know, and like I know so many people that have been failed by that system. But yeah, it was definitely my early, then when I got into like 13, 14, like I can't even explain the stuff that was going on in my brain, in my head. Like I was so lost, but I didn't know any different.
Different. That's what I mean. That must be really
Yeah,
hard place to be. Like when you realise actually that life can be different.
yeah.
It's a did it come up? I suppose it's a shock.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that anybody that I looked for that kind of stability and that kind of, almost, I guess, without no, I can look back now and reflect that lost me was looking for help and for guidance, and I didn't have it,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I feel like I'm in a sob story. It's not a sob story, but I hope I like to create why I do what I do,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that my dad was an alcoholic, so I never had dependency on I couldn't depend on my dad, even though he was around. I was looking after him more than
Yeah.
me, so I just didn't have anybody to turn to for any. I wouldn't have known, I think, at the time what was going on inside of me.
No, you wouldn't have done, would you? Because a child of that age wouldn't. They
Yeah,
would just think that's how life is.
exactly. And I then um, met a boy, and he was a boy, and I fell pregnant when I was 15. So I went from all this crazy time to then falling pregnant with my son Harvey, and again more trauma. So it was almost like I was collecting
Yeah.
trauma from everywhere that I possibly could.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big thing to happen. Obviously, I was 16 when I had him, so that's very young, too young, far too young. Um, so yeah, that was a big turning point as well, I think, for my life, and how I was going to move forward with that. Harvey's 19 now.
Wow, you don't look old enough, mate, to have a 19-year-old.
He's actually got a child himself now, so I'm a grandma.
Oh, God. I never knew that.
Absolutely madness, right? But like I said, I remember when I was young, when I was that 16-year-old girl, I was like, oh my gosh, I had that 16-year-old kind of mindset, and I was like, oh, I could be a grandma in my 30s, and thinking back then that it was really cool. And then when I found out that his girlfriend was having a baby, I can't even tell you that karma that was rushing through me, because I was like, no, like I literally manifested this, so many.
Yeah. That younger version of you would be holding her head in her hands right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Right, so 16. So how did you cope? Because that is young again, and I suppose you didn't have the. Did you have the support network
I
around
didn't
you?
cope. I didn't cope. That's
Because
the point.
because at any age, having a child for a
Yeah,
woman is very daunting. It's a complete life change.
completely. Yeah. I think back then I was just so naive, Amy. I just thought, I was very stubborn. Even before I was pregnant, I was that type of person that was like, you couldn't tell me what to do. I've always been my own person. I'm a typical Aquarius. I think my way, and I'll do what I want to do if it feels right to me. And I guess now that's a really good trait that I have at this age, because it serves me. But back then, as a young girl, you couldn't tell me different. So
Yeah.
a lot. I had, always was trying to rekindle that relationship with my mother, um, and mum was around, my sister was around. At that time, I got into a friendship group that, at the time, I thought were everything. They were
Right.
like my family. You get into a friendship group at that age, don't you? 16, 17, 18, and you just think they're all absolutely amazing. And to be fair, like a lot of them did look after me, and they did help me. I mean, obviously looking back now, I can see that, it was just those typical kind of 16, 17, 18-year-old relationships, which all hold a lot of chaos, even
Yes.
now at people I know that age, there's a lot of chaos there. But I didn't cope. That's the point. I tried to cope. but I just didn't. And I think, you know, it was just more energy in regards to the fact that I was really unwell, and obviously
Yeah.
going through you know, having a baby and then not knowing what was going on with my hormones and how I was feeling after, because I just, it wasn't spoken about. Again, like, that wasn't spoken about. Like, people wasn't speaking about that you might feel a little different after having a baby and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't spoken to me. Is that being, you know, is that
It wasn't spoken to me neither. Yeah.
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 Now I feel like it's spoken about quite a lot, you know.
Yeah, thankfully. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't have any trauma from it. I mean, I can remember about 3 days after Ben was born, and I can remember the health visitor coming around saying, have you had the baby blues yet? And I was like, no. And she went, oh. I said, what are them? She said, you'll know when you've got them. And it was about day 5, and I can remember, I was on about it the other week actually, I was sobbing.
Yeah.
The most I've ever cried in my life. I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah.
Just nothing set me off. Nobody could calm me down.
Yeah.
And it freaked the life out of me, mate, because nobody said, right, this is going to happen because your hormones are trying to
Yeah.
balance. Nobody warned me that. I thought there was something bloody wrong with me. Just like,
Yeah, any of that either. Like, that was nothing that I don't even think I was in the hospital a day until I was out, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, nobody spoke to me about that, and I was already mentally unwell, so that was just, you know,
Yeah. And young as well.
really, really young. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think that was that, you know, I guess looking back, you know, I look back at these things now, and I'm just mind blown that this is even my story. And then, you know, I absolutely, my son now, like, oh, it's I've noticed how my life karma is playing out now, because my son is the image of me when I was that age. Like,
Yes.
all these traits that I talked to you about, you know, stubborn, does what, you know, did what I want to do, didn't listen to anyone. Like, I see it all now in my son. So it's been really interesting as an adult now, especially after all the healing that I've done, to be able to reflect back and see that in my own son, as a reminder, you know, as a reminder to me of the impact that I might have had on people around me at that time. Hence why now I've got a much better relationship with my mother, because I kind of understand now, you know, because I'm like, oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It is, you do understand when you've grown up a little bit and you've gone through your own experiences, then you can resonate a little bit better, can't you?
Definitely. So
And some hard lessons.
yeah, I feel like, yeah, I've had a lot of hard lessons, but some of them have been self-inflicted. So I've chosen them. some of these
Right.
some of this path I've chosen at the end of the day. I try not to sit in a space of guilt and shame for that now, but sometimes
No.
not to, especially if I look back and think of like my addiction issues and stuff. I think we all do what we can in that moment with what,
Yes.
you know.
With the knowledge that we've got.
Exactly.
Yes.
And hindsight's a wonderful thing, because, you
Yeah.
know, I literally sat there writing in my journal the other night about that. So I was having a bit of a reflection in regards to a previous relationship that I was in, that was so vile. He ended up going to prison for the things that he did to me, and it was just one of the hardest times in my life. But and recently all these things have been surfacing, so it's been really interesting for me to start journaling about this, you know, and just getting it down on paper. And I kept thinking like this guilt and shame, and because I was thinking, I wish I was this person now back then, because I wouldn't have stayed. Do you know what I mean? Or I would have loved myself more.
Mm.
Funny how we reflect like that. It's like, well, actually at the time I didn't know
You don't know.
not meant to be like that, because I didn't know what love was. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
what love is. I know what love is for myself and for others. But back then, you know, when I was with him, that's what I thought love was, because I hadn't been shown any different.
Yeah. Exactly that. And I always say to people, you know, I get to speak to a lot of people that have had addiction somewhere or been through trauma, and
Yeah,
they beat themselves up for it.
totally.
And you know, yes, it's not an ideal. When you were a little girl, you wouldn't have dreamt of growing up like being traumatized and addicted. Nobody would. But at the time, society didn't have the information. We didn't have the knowledge, you know. It's like we live in a society where people are stressed and traumatized. They'll go and have a drink, or they'll go and cover it up, because that's what society led us to believe, that that's what we did.
Yes, 100%. And I think again, like that was the same for me. That was all I knew, you know, seeing my dad as an alcoholic and
Yes.
seeing my family turn to alcohol. And then all my friends at the time were, they take party drugs, and I didn't know any different, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that there was other ways for me to cope
Yeah.
at that time. Obviously, I know now, but I feel like I needed to go there to be able to just
Absolutely.
discover that for me. Because as I said, I've always been that very stubborn person that has done what I want. So if someone had told me, I wonder how much of of that person would have believed in them and been like, yeah, no, I'll figure it out myself. So
Yeah. Yeah. So the mental health and the addiction. So at what point did you go, I don't want this life, Kitty, I want to change?
yeah, I think it wasn't so much a. I think that desire to change has always been within me. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think there was one moment. There was one moment I can think of that felt right. I'd like to explain that as the start of my spiritual awakening. That's how I'd explain it. But I think that there was a combination of things that were going on at the time. So I'd split up with my ex-partner that I've been referring to, previously, that I was in a really, really bad relationship with. My dad had just passed away, and I was obviously there with him when he died. And my mental health was really bad. I was using drugs at the time. And it was almost like all of them all rolled up into, was obviously making me feel the way that I was feeling. And I remember I had lots of suicide attempts, but this day I really felt like, okay, like I'm doing it, like I was really like, I wonder how many of those previously was me looking for help.
Yeah.
What felt like real, like I could feel it. So I'd spent the whole day like writing letters and preparing for my death. Let's be frank about it. And I was breaking, like my whole body was hurting. I was shaking, I was breaking, I was screaming. And I lay down on the floor and I literally screamed out into the world, into the universe, however you want to say it, please fucking help me. Please. And I'll try and say this without crying.
You're making me cry here, mate. Jesus.
I heard something. I heard
Right.
say to me, you need to keep going. And it was almost like I could hear it. And just those words, something happened. Um, and that was the start. That was the start for me, where I was like, it was almost like everything I needed to know, then all the information that I needed to know started coming in. So at the time, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So the doctor said, because I just couldn't get out of bed because I was just in so much physical pain. So I felt like that needed to be the start for me. So I started going for massages. Like, can you help me? I'm in pain. I've got fibromyalgia, I would label myself with. The doctors were trying to put me on loads of medication, but I was like self-medicating at the time, with illegal drugs and stuff. So I was just like, well, I'm not going to mix the two right now. But I started going for massages. And I started feeling better physically in my body. And then I started to read, I started to research. This is where that kind of came in. I started going to yoga. I started not associating with the people that I was associating with, reading more, spending more time just with myself, shutting myself off from people. I started my healing journey basically. And I noticed that as I was going, having more massages, doing yoga, I was having energy healing, I was having sound therapy. I was literally putting all of my time and my money into getting this healing. And I started to feel a little bit better. So I was like, okay, well, this kind of seems to be working for me. And it just spiraled from there. Like, it's almost as if I can't even tell you how it happened, because it happened beneath my feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's where my kind of spiritual awakening started, in regards to me saying, if I don't change my life, then I'm not going to be here. And
Yeah.
yeah, I had to think of my son and my family, you know, and myself, even though I can say that now, and back then I didn't realize that. So I just slowly started going through that transition, really, of healing.
I love that. Did you have moments where it was like, oh, this is too hard? And like, because it's easy to for familiar. What's hard is the unknown and change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person that spends quite a lot of time in internal thoughts. So there would be lots of moments where I'd be like, can I do this? You know,
Yeah.
but again, it's going to sound spiritual and hippy dippy, but hey, it's my truth. There was something that kept pushing me. There was something that kept me walking on the path that I needed to walk on. And as I kept moving through this path and healing this, healing that, working through that, doing yoga, doing massage, blah 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 blah, all these things that I was doing, is I could see that I was feeling better. I could see it. I was feeling better. Everything just started coming together. So for me, I can almost describe it as if the universe was just like awarding me, yes, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. So I did. I just kept with it. And as time went by, yeah, there was just more and more and more improvement. Now, where I am now in 2025, a doctor would not tell you that I've got fibromyalgia. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't take any, I don't take any pain meds. I don't use any drugs. I don't drink. So I look back now. I'm not taking fibromyalgia away from people, but what I'm thinking is that for me, I believe that was just trauma and pain stored in my body that needed to be let go of. It was
Yeah.
manifesting in my body because there was so fucking much of it. You know, when I speak about my ex-partner and the relationship there, that trauma bond was very, very strong. So when you leave a relationship where you've had such a trauma bond, that literally manifests in your body. Like, you literally can't, I was like this, I was so tense. So as I started to work through that, my body started to soften. And yeah, I don't get pains anymore. Which,
I'm glad that you've mentioned about trauma in the body, because you've done a few posts that I've seen about your central nervous system.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
God, yeah. Now I completely agree with everything you say, because you know, even people without really bad trauma are running around with central nervous system that is knocked out of sync. It's because the way of the world,
exactly. Yeah,
and it causes so much illness, doesn't it?
absolutely. I mean, any type of trauma as well can be stored in that nervous system. Even people that have a bump in the car, it's going to be
Yeah.
stored in the physical body somewhere. And as a holistic therapist now, I can see that how our mind and our physical body are very heavily connected as well. So, people that have got mental health issues going on or something going on internally in their mind tend to have that physical pain in their body as well, because we do hold it there. But you're right, we're not meant to be living the way that we're living.
No. No.
Absolutely mad. And I think as you go through this healing journey, that becomes more and more and more and more apparent to you, that
Yeah.
actually something feels off here. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on in society, in this world. It's yeah,
They
it's
say we are constantly in fight and flight and freeze mode, unfortunately.
and that's what I lived in. I think
Yeah.
that's what's taken me so many years, I think, to be able to snap out of that, because I lived in that mode. I lived
Yeah.
in my nervous system was absolutely pooped, like it was wrecked. And the more that I've healed it now, the beautiful thing that I've been able to do now is that I'm so in tune with it that I can feel things in my body the minute something doesn't feel right to me.
Yes.
Says to me, Kitty, can you do that? I'll feel it before I answer.
It's like an alarm clock, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Body is the alarm clock. Yeah.
feel things. I feel things coming now. Even before a conversation, I'm like, oh, my back. And then get your conversation, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
knew
told
that
you
conversation
earlier.
weren't going to go great.
So yeah, but unfortunately, there's just a lot of people that just don't understand that. They just don't have the awareness of it. So I think that's really important for me to be able to spread that message about how we store trauma, how we store pain within our body, and how that can be released.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of my mission.
Yes.
Yeah, and how I can help people with that. So basically, what I did then is I wanted to understand why these healing modalities were healing me.
Yeah, fascinating, isn't it? When you can feel it yourself, you want to know more.
So I was like, I want to know everything. So I started training in massage. That's where it started with me. I was like, okay. So I did your typical massage, you know, your Swedish, you know, trained in all of those, brilliant. Then I went a little bit deeper and I went into shiatsu massage, and then I wanted to understand how trauma is stored now, you know, in your body. So I went and trained about trauma, and I'm a, you know, obviously a trauma informed practitioner because of that. And I was doing yoga, and I love yoga. And then I was like, I want to know everything about yoga. So I was like, where can I go to learn yoga? So I was like, I'm going to India. So
Oh, did you go to India?
I went to India. So
Oh, mate.
yeah, so that for me was frigging life changing. You know, like
Wow.
I've left a little bit of my heart there, or a big part of my heart there,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the healing that I've been able to do here in this kind of climate and environment, it's steady. It's steady, and that's great. Sometimes I have like a bit of a boost with it, but it's steady, and that's okay. But I honestly think that the healing in India, like in India, for over 6 weeks, I could do the same amount of healing that would take me 3 years here.
Yeah.
Such an energy, such a bubble there. And obviously, I went out there to train to be a yoga teacher, because I was like, if I'm going to learn yoga, then I want, for me, it was just as much as the spiritual teachings that I wanted to learn, as much as the actual practice of yoga. So I was like, India's the place I'm going to go. So off to India I went.
Wow.
And that was just incredible. It was amazing.
Wow. 6 weeks, you say?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely incredible.
So it was hard work though. So I didn't get a
Yeah.
lot of like to have fun. No, that's not what India was for me. You have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You have to be on your mat by 6:30 in the morning. You're literally practicing yoga, and then you go into philosophy, you know, and then we get some yoga teachings, and then you have a little break for lunch and a little quick sleep because it's so warm. And then you go back again onto the mat until around 6 p.m. at night. So it was constant
Full on. Yeah,
every day.
yeah. Well, they're a different way of life, looking at everything, how they treat medical problems. They're far more equipped.
Exactly. And that's where I guess I understood then, like, actually, and since then, for an example, I'm not encouraging anybody not to go and see their GP and have a doctor, but I haven't personally seen a GP or seen a doctor in around 7-8 years. And the reason why is because when I was especially the mental health, let's talk about that more, is I was given so many medications, and they were,
Yes.
I believe they were messing me up. One medication made me literally produce milk, you know,
Oh,
because it
wow. That's,
hormones so much.
for God's sake. Yeah. What is that? Do you have to question what it's doing to you?
Exactly. And I was just weaning, you know, they were weaning me on and off all these different medications. So I'm really, really, really grateful and happy that the holistic way has spoken to me, because I'm I'm not ill anymore. You know,
Yeah.
because I think that once you get into the habit of looking after yourself, listening to your body, taking just a moment every day just to tune in with, like, I do that every day. I'll take a moment, I'll breathe, I'll tune in with how I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling something, then I'll treat it with something holistic. I'm hoping that I can stay like that for as long as possible. I'm sure I'm gonna have to, you know,
Yeah.
eventually go and see a doctor. But at the moment I'm lucky that, you know, holistic therapy, and yeah.
That's it. I mean, there's a place for modern medicine without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm not saying that everybody should go and stop taking the medications or anything like that. But I think we're very quick in this country to rely on pharmaceuticals rather than either change a diet or move more, or for your mental health, get out in nature.
Especially for mental health, Amy.
Yeah, try and reset that central nervous system. I think it's easier for us. The brain likes a quick fix, and I think a lot of people see that as the quick fix.
Yeah. Yeah,
But in reality, it's often doesn't work that well.
I think it kind of just puts a mask over things, doesn't it? Especially if I'm thinking about mental health, I come from this because I know, I was given lots of diagnoses when I was younger, bipolar disorder, BPD, I've ADHD, I've had them all.
Oh, you had them all going on.
I've had them all. I've had them all. All the labels going, babe. Okay? And a lot of people that would meet me now might say she might be a little bit ADHD. That one might have stuck around a bit. But a lot of them just people wouldn't think, so
No.
question how much of those diagnoses for me personally was what was going on in my life at that moment. It was
Yes.
that unresolved trauma, because everybody has trauma. It's a really messy and scary place out there, and
Yeah.
I'm one of so many people that have gone through some really, really hard, challenging times. And I think that they can heal those better if they actually do the work that needs to be done, which unfortunately is difficult. It's not just take a pill and then you're going to feel better the next day.
No.
It's opening Pandora's box.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we do react to our environment.
Yeah.
Even on like a really small level, you could be the happiest person ever, walk into a room of people moaning, and after about half an hour, you will join them moaning.
Exactly.
Right. So you do become your environment, you react to your environment, but we label people under a list of tick boxes.
Yes.
Which is very dangerous, and especially where children are concerned as well. Because you were seen as a problem child when actually you were running from the problem.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad, isn't it? I mean, I hope that I can make a little impact, because I do believe that there's a ripple effect. I think we spoke about like that kind of ripple effect when you came on,
Yes.
you know, there is a ripple effect. You can make a difference in this world. And I think that, that's what keeps me really grounded and rooted in what I do, because I honestly believe, and I've seen it now, with my work and what I do. Like, I want to be the person that I wanted back then. Like, that's who I am.
Yes. I said that on another podcast a couple of weeks ago. You've become the adult that you needed when you were younger.
Exactly.
And that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to be.
That's what you are, mate.
Oh, thank you.
You are already it.
Yeah, sometimes you need that reminder.
Yes. So with the business side of things,
Yeah. Oh my God.
exciting.
So much going on. Obviously, I've moved back to Swad. I've been living in Wales for quite a while, and I've moved back to Swad, and it was nervous having to bring my business somewhere new.
Yeah. So was your business set up in Wales?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So moving it here it felt right. I knew it was the time to come back. Obviously, I wanted to come back and be with my family, be with my sister, be with my brother, and my mum. I wanted to be back in that kind of. I enjoyed being in Wales, but I wanted to be back here. So I was nervous, but you know what? It's been going well. It's been going really, really well. I think that you have to just put that hard work in as well. And I totally believe in what I do. So I think that's really important. And I absolutely love it. Like, it's so great. Like, even today, I just had some clients and I'm like, I love it. Like, it doesn't feel like work to me, because it feels like I've got a purpose, I'm doing something, I'm helping other people. So yeah, it's beautiful. Elysian was born from my pain. It literally,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and I want to reach the people that, as I said, that I needed. So yeah, I trained in all holistic therapy. So I trained in energy healing. So I was lucky enough to be trained by a brilliant guy called Tim Pope, an absolutely amazing energy healer. And I was so lucky and blessed to be able to be trained by him. And the energy healing that I do is just so important and so beautiful, and it works so well with people that have suffered any type of trauma, physically or mentally. But most importantly, it's a real good one for people that have addiction problems. So this type of energy healing took me out of addiction.
Wow. Yeah.
In that, like, it took me out of it. It took me out of that mindset of addiction. It took me out of that energy of addiction. Therefore, there is no addiction.
Yeah.
That was it for me. So I'm really lucky to be able to, just to give that kind of healing modality to others. And then obviously the yoga side of it is exciting. There's so much going on with that at the moment. And yeah, I just love the practice of yoga. It's very different, as you know, from coming to my class. And I say that
Yeah,
yoga,
she did warn me it was slightly different to a normal yoga class.
it is slightly it's not typically what you get in the West, okay? It's not so much about your asana and about your postures, because even though there's an element of that, yeah, we are going into yoga postures, but for me, it's a lot more spiritual. So I don't really care as a yoga teacher if you've not got the best downward dog. That's not what matters to me. It's all about being present, it's all about stillness, it's all about reconnecting with your body and coming away from that thinking mind and just taking a minute to pause. Like, we just don't,
Yeah.
like, we're all
Is that why you get us to close our eyes?
There's a couple of reasons why I do that.
Yeah.
One is because when we do yoga, we compare ourselves to others.
Right, yeah.
Like, oh, she's doing it better, oh, he's doing it good, oh, I'm doing it crap. No, like, the whole point is I want to take you away from that thinking mind, so that's one of the reasons, because we don't compare ourselves to others. And the other reason is when we open our eyes, we're literally using all of our energy outwardly,
Right.
taking
Okay.
so when we close our eyes, we're able to come back in a little bit more and just be a bit more centered and come back into our body. So that is why I encourage a closed eye practice, but I understand that can't always be done. Some people just can't close their eyes, especially people that come from trauma. Sometimes closing their eyes just highlights that trauma for them. So, but I like to think I'm a pretty laid back yoga teacher. So I'm
You
like,
were.
you do I'm here to guide you. You listen to yourself, because ultimately everybody is their own teacher. It's like all of my spiritual awakening, everything that I've learned and consumed, it hasn't felt new to me. It's almost felt like I've been remembering. And I feel that
Yeah.
that's the same for people with yoga. You know, you just need to close your eyes and just go into stillness. Um, so yoga for me, Amy, I mean, I'm a big fan.
I know.
If there's anybody listening that's yoga, dead on it. And then obviously yoga nidra then, which is a beautiful practice that I absolutely love, which is just like guided meditation, isn't it? I mean, you've done it. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, I love meditation, mate. It's all backed by neuroscience, isn't it? So I'm
Yeah,
all for that.
exactly. Which makes it, I think it's finding the right people, isn't it? Because I know that, some people can think, oh, it's just all that hippy dippy stuff. But a lot of this now is backed by science. Yoga is,
It is. Yeah.
work, it's all backed.
It is all back. So obviously what was considered woo, like the whole gratitude and the journaling and meditation and yoga. Now neuroscience, like I say, it's met it and it's now proven it. There will still be people sat there though that will argue,
Yeah.
because if you think it's just the way that the Western world is,
Yeah, exactly. It's because it's what we've been taught. We don't know any different.
Yeah, so of
Yeah.
course, you can sit in a room full of people that have never meditated or done yoga, and you will be the weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I quite like being. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely the weirdo, and that's fine with me. Some
yeah,
people don't get it. It's like the energy work. I put something out on socials, and some man was like, "Oh, this is crap," and I'm like, "Well, no, actually, it's backed by science. Like, look at it now. Like, we are
yeah,
energy. Everything is energy.
yeah.
It, but hey, I always think the people that need it and want it, they'll come. That's when it's there,
Yeah.
to resonate with them. If they're in that frequency where they think, oh, okay, maybe I'll give this a go, then it's there. So, but
Yes,
I'm quite
yeah.
how
I
far.
do. Yeah, I do believe more people are starting to pay attention now.
Yeah, that's because I definitely feel that we're going through some kind of revolution. Like,
Yeah, you can definitely see. I mean, it needs to be more, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not saying this, but you can see a lot more people at the minute taking care of the health.
yeah,
They're being more mindful.
yeah,
Um, there was actually I can't remember. I think it was a website that did like the UK stats not long ago actually. Quizzed a load of people, and it was like 59% of people are now looking to be more mindful. Now 59% is actually quite high.
Yeah, that's really high.
Yeah. So it shows you that people are meditating more. They're downloading apps to do breathing. You know, it is getting around.
Definitely. And I'm really lucky that I'm part of that kind of movement, in, you know, because it really does work. Because
Yes.
if it's worked for me, then it's going to work for you.
Yes.
That it's going to. So yeah, I'm glad that a lot more people are being more open-minded in regards to how these spiritual practices, or breath work, journaling. You mentioned that, like I'm a
Yeah, yeah.
like I really cannot explain how physically writing down my words, or what my words in my mind, has really helped me unpack an ADHD brain.
Yeah.
There's always so much going on in
But
there.
if you think about it, it's took you from walking around subconsciously to writing it down, you're suddenly conscious.
Yeah.
So I've journaled now 5 years.
Okay.
And
Love.
if I have a break from it, I
Yeah.
can tell,
Yeah.
because I start running around subconsciously, because that's what your brain does. It goes on autopilot because I've not stopped myself to, you know, decide how I want to feel today, or things like that, or my priorities for the day. And it's not hard work. It's when you start. I can remember when I first started doing it, I was thinking, this feels weird,
Yeah.
and I started meditating. This feels weird, but actually,
So unusual. We're not used to
we're
it.
not used to it at all. Now it feels weird when I don't do it. I don't feel.
There's a barrier, I think, that you have to kind of keep going with, because what happens is the same with my yoga practice. Okay, when you first do my practice, there'll be things going on in your mind that's going, what are you doing? Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. Same with breath work, same with journaling.
Yes.
Like, why are you watching this when you can, why are you writing when you can watch EastEnders? Like, your thinking mind will do that, but the
Yeah.
whole point is we've got to step back a little bit from that, observe what's going on, and not allow that to control us. And it is things like journaling, it is things like yoga, it is things like breath work that are going to help you do that. And like, it's, yeah, like, I really, really, I wish I could just shout it from the rooftops, because I'm so passionate about it. Because, like you, I know that it works.
Yeah.
Keep with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Uh,
So can we mention that you might be doing some yoga online?
yeah, let's.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Yeah, so I've obviously been doing in-person yoga for quite a while. And I guess part of me is stepping into the times a little bit, but also, as well, as I understand that everybody leaves, leading really busy lives, and I want to be able to create a platform, basically, where people are able to access yoga classes, yoga nidra, rest rituals, because that's something that's really important about my offerings, is that people take a moment to rest, like actually rest, not sleep.
Yeah.
Different, enter that stillness.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm just going to say, sorry to interrupt you, but the amount of people that think, yeah, well, I do chill out, and then they'll chill out, and 2 minutes later, they're asleep. That's
Yeah,
not chilled.
chill out by watching telly. It's
Yeah.
it's like, rest is when you shut your eyes, you do not go to sleep, you stay conscious. You're not watching something. Um, so yeah, so basically I'm creating a platform now where I'm going to be offering online classes, online yoga nidra, all the rest rituals, where people can access these anytime they want, from their own home or wherever they are, even if they're on holiday. And I'll basically be uploading new content every week. So I'm really excited to be able to, yeah, basically offer what, my offerings, my yoga, my teachings, yeah, to the world, to everywhere, because I feel like I love where I live. I love Swaddling Coat. It's great. But what I'd like to do is reach other people that need it. I've
Yeah.
got contacts all over the UK. So anybody that is anywhere in the world or the UK can obviously join this community. And it will be a community, because I think that's very important as well, is to have that community side of it. Because ultimately we all want that. We're always looking for community,
Yeah. Absolutely.
community that resonates, and but most importantly, this will be a community that encourages healing and encourages well-being. So I'm excited about this new platform. I will be doing in-person yoga classes as well. So I'm in the middle of collabing with someone local. So I'll still be doing in-person classes, but I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. So I'm really excited about it, Amy, I really am.
No, you should be as well, because we're in a world where it's so easy to be connected, yet we are so disconnected.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a big thing for people, which is ridiculous in 2025.
Yeah.
And it's because, a lot of people aren't around like-minded people.
Yeah, so I think that's really important, isn't it? When anybody's on any type of healing journey or moving through mental health, I think just having other people around you that you can relate to and resonate with is absolutely vital. Again, that's been a big part of my healing journey, is being around the same type of people that are going through this, the healing journey, basically, because it's rough.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy. It's been
Yeah.
really difficult, but it's so rewarding if you keep at it and stick to it. But yeah, in regards to yoga, I've just really want, as I said, this practice is very different to what we're used to. So I really want it to get out there to as many people as possible, really, to just reap the rewards and the benefits of it. So
I highly recommend it. So
my
I've,
little
I will say the first time I did it, I was thinking, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. You do feel amazing afterwards.
Yes, definitely, especially with like yoga nidra. I think if you end the practice with yoga nidra,
Yeah.
yoga nidra is like getting 9 hours of sleep in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how you'll feel. You'll feel like you've just woken up from a really amazing sleep. But most importantly, what it does is it resets that nervous system, which we all need right now.
Yeah.
Just from laying there and listening to me guiding you. I mean, for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Like, take 20 minutes of your day to do something like yoga nidra, or take half hour to do something like yoga or meditation. So yeah, that is my message that I'm shouting from the rooftops, in hope that even if it just lands with one person, then yeah, I'm happy.
I love that. So if I know you've not released it yet, but we'll put all the links. So where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Shall I send you my things? You can put them out, but at
Yeah.
least in yoga and wellbeing, I'll send you, or you can post them out. But Facebook, Instagram, email, if someone wants to email me, by all means, you're welcome to share that. Elysian Circle is going to be launched within the next 2 weeks, which is really exciting. So I'm just in the background at the moment, getting all that ready and making sure that it's perfect. So if anybody is listening and they want to follow Elysian, know more about my journey, I'm literally about to head into doing loads of live. So I'm going to be doing free offerings. So this is free yoga nidra, free yoga classes. So if anybody's listening and they're thinking, do you know what, I'd like to give it a go, but I don't want to pay right now, then that's okay. Like, come, give it a go, because if it resonates, I'll believe that you'll stick around, and therefore pay. It's very reasonable. The online
Yes.
version of all my classes and stuff are cheaper than what they are in person, so it's affordable. It's like 2 coffees a month. So I
And
believe
you can watch these, like you say, whenever you want. So it's not like you've got to be.
you can go back to them at any time, and that's the beauty of it. This is why I'm really
Yeah.
excited about going to this platform.
Yes.
There's fresh content going in every week, but it doesn't matter if you don't, it's
Because that's the big thing with people. They'll go, I haven't got time. So if they can watch it at their own,
when they've got time. Yeah.
perfect.
All they need to be dedicated to is spending that, that half hour a week, yeah.
And we're worth half an hour a week.
I know.
So because a lot of people will always put other people before them as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to put yourself before other people. Like, I'm a big believer in that now. I was a people pleaser. I like to make other people happy. I think I still am now, to some degree, but what I'm able to do now is I'm a lot more sovereign, because I understand the importance of my energy and my journey. you know, so I get it. Like, you know, I look after myself because I know that when I'm good, I can look after other people, and then I'm happy. Because
Yeah,
ultimately, you know, I want to heal everyone that that I meet and help them. So yeah, I think looking after yourself is really important. Um,
I love it that you're going online because it is a unique way that you teach.
yeah,
Um, so if anybody's listening to this going, "Oh, it's another yoga class," it really isn't.
it's so not another yoga class. It's so different. You know, even with yoga itself, you know, we do things like breath work. Breath work's included within it. Mantra, you know, we use our voice. It's just, there's just so many layers to my teachings that is absolutely amazing. We do a lot of visualization. Another really powerful tool is visualization. Again, you're able to kind of have more control over that thinking mind when you're in that state of visualization.
That's what I was going to ask you actually. So you know anybody that's been through like trauma, will they have trouble visualizing?
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like when we were talking about the fact that people, you know, some people struggle to close their eyes. Everybody's different, you know.
Right.
I've been quite lucky that my imagination has always been really, really wild. So visualization has been something that I can do. But there are people that cannot even do visualization. There's just a blockage there, which is absolutely fine. You know, if you can't visualize it, then I think for me, it's even things like the smell of something, you know, when I'm
Just
doing yoga.
using different senses.
Exactly. You know, when I'm
Yeah.
doing yoga and I don't know, maybe we're visualizing a tree, for example. What does that smell like? What does fresh grass smell like to you? You know, there's other ways that we can come away from that thinking mind and come back into our body, because that's what we're doing. But some people do struggle with visualization.
Yeah, I know a few people that,
Yeah,
you know, that,
some
yeah,
people do. They just can't. And that's okay. Like we're all different, you know.
yeah,
It's like yoga itself. You know, we're all different. You know, everybody I speak to yoga about, they're like, "Oh, I can't do it." I had a lovely lady earlier, and that came for an Indian head massage, and she was like, "I just can't do yoga," and I'm like, "Everybody can do yoga.
yeah,
There's nobody that cannot do yoga." People think that they can't do the yoga that you should be doing, i.e. these perfect, you know, poses, and that's not yoga. It's not. Honestly, yoga for me is definitely, as I said, is taking that moment to pause, to breathe, to come back to your body, to come out of your thinking mind, to be present, to let go. I think is a really important one, is to let go of our expectations from the outside world, you know,
yes,
to surrender to yourself into that moment. And that is what I teach, and that is what I'm really excited to be delivering to anybody who wants to join Elysian Circle now. So, I mean, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about that. I
no, I know, no, I'm excited because, like I said, I've got a lot of listeners that are in the UK and abroad as well,
really,
and yeah, that would be very interested in having a go. And if you do have a go as well, please let us know how you get on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, please.
And if there's anybody listening as well that is moving through any type of addiction problems, mental health, domestic violence, relationships, anything like that, where they feel that they need someone to talk to, please drop me a message. Please get in touch. Everything that I've learned along my journey, I will give to you. And if you're listening and you're thinking, oh shit, that's me, like, you can do it, you know, please reach out to me, and I'd love to help you in any way that I possibly can. So thanks, Amy, for giving me
I
the
love that. One last question. It's the hardest one. Everybody
opportunity.
swears at me at this point. Kitty, tell me 3 good things about yourself.
Oh my goodness, I'll cry. 3 good things about myself. I think my ability to love through all my
Yeah,
trauma. Love has never left me. And I connect with love with everything that I do and with everybody that I meet. So I probably would say that my ability to love, my strength, my inner
yeah.
strength, it's served me very well. And it's something that I'm very proud of. I'm still very fiery,
Yes,
which I absolutely love. What would my last one be? Um, I think it would probably be the way that I'm able to hold space for other people. I think that
yeah,
would probably be it. It's an absolute honour to be able to do that. and to be able to mirror what I've gone through. That's why I share my story, to be able to mirror what I've gone through, to be like, it's okay if you've been there too, and just to be able to help people get through those dark times. So yeah, there's my answer.
Amazing. Do you know what I love about you, Kitty? I need to end with this
Go
because you
on.
really are inspiring, because it's hard to see like you for your own through your own eyes at times. And for me, I look at you, and for people that have been through trauma, whether it's similar to yours or something different, you know, that you give hope to people. Because I honestly believe that when you are young and that you suffer trauma and you believe that life that's normal,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people believe that they're not good enough to have a better life.
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of people think it just won't happen for them. And for me, you are a lighthouse to those kind of people, because that we have spoke about the ripple effect, and with you coming out and sharing your story,
Yeah.
you will show people that it is possible. You
Yeah.
haven't just walked out. I'm not knocking anybody for going uni, but it's not like you've walked out with a university degree with books. You've lived it,
Lived experience. Yeah.
and you are helping others through it. And I love people that give other people hope, and that's what you do.
Amy, thank you so much. Honestly, you don't know how much that means to me. Sometimes we just need to hear somebody else's perspective. It just gives us, you know, especially gives me that kind of little boost. I know that I'm on the right path, but I just want you to know that I really, really appreciate that. And thank you so much.
All right, my lovely. Anytime. Thank you for the work that you do, and keep doing it.
Amazing. It's been so nice to be on here tonight. Thank you so much.
That's all right. You take care, my lovely.
Bye, babe.